Hello students, how are you? I hope you are fine. Today we are going to discuss the very first chapter of your book Flamengo, and the name of the chapter is The Last Lesson. Let's know the learning objectives of this video lesson. After watching this video, children will be able to know the value of patriotism, the importance of time in their daily life, the importance of their first language, and how to use different idiomatic expressions learnt from the chapter. Now, the lesson on the screen is the last lesson written by Alfonso Dudet. But before going through the lesson, let's know about the author. Do you know the name of the author of this lesson? Yes, the author of this lesson is Alphonse Daudet. He is a French novelist and story writer. He was born on 13 May 1840. Alphonse Daudet grew up in Provence. He began a career as a school teacher when his father was ruined. He then went to Paris to become a journalist and writer. Alphonse Daudet has written numerous novels, collection of short stories, plays, and autobiographical books. Some of his works are Monday Tales, The Nabob, and Sappho, etc. Let's know the background of the story, The Last Lesson. The last lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War 1870 to 71, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. The last lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet, narrates about the year 1870 when the Prussian forces under Bismarck attacked and captured France. The French districts of Alsace and Lorraine went into Prussian hands. The new Prussian rulers discontinued the teaching of French in the schools of these two districts. This is the background of this lesson. The last lesson symbolizes the final opportunity to learn and preserve one's cultural identity. It signifies the final chance for the students to hold on to their French identity before being forced to adopt a foreign language. The last lesson evokes a sense of loss and regret for the protagonist, Franz, and his classmates. The title reflects the feeling of remorse and understanding that they will never have the opportunity to learn French again. It serves as a reminder of the value of education and the importance of cherishing one's cultural heritage. The title also suggests a theme of nostalgia and sentimentality as Franz attends his final French lesson. He becomes overwhelmed with emotions and memories associated with the language and culture. The title, The Last Lesson, encapsulates the bittersweet feelings experienced by the characters as they bid farewell to their native language. The word last in the title implies finality and closure. It signifies the end of an era and the irreversible change that is about to take place. The last French lesson marks the conclusion of an educational journey for the students and beginning of a new chapter dominated by a different language. The title also emphasizes the importance of seizing every opportunity and not taking things for granted. Here is the brief summary of this lesson. The narrator of this story is a French boy. His name is Franz. He is a lazy boy in spite of his laziness. Franz likes to play and is of a sensitive nature. Franz hates his teacher, M. Hamel, in his school and has no interest in studying French. An order has come from Berlin after taking over the districts of Alsace and Lorraine in France that German language rather than the French should be taught in the schools there. After this order, the school teacher M. Hamel becomes very sad. The teacher has been working there for 40 years. Moreover, the teacher has feelings of patriotism. He is also full of nostalgia and grief. The village men also attend his last lesson so as to honor and respect him. The villagers are regretting, they are sad because they did not learn their mother tongue in their childhood. Franz was shocked when he learns that this is his last lesson in French and he does not know French. When he attends this last lesson, a sudden interest arises in him for learning French. He pays careful attention and tries to learn everything taught on this day. Instantly, he develops a liking for the teacher M. Hamel. His feelings of hatred for him suddenly came to an end. Franz develops respect for the hard work and sincerity of his teacher. Franz is sad and ashamed of for being unable to recite his lesson. Hamel explains that they all are at fault for lacking eagerness to learn. He blames himself for lack of sincerity in teaching. There is a reflection of his patriotism in his praise for the French language. He says that the French language is the most logical and beautiful language in the world. It seems that Miss Amel gets emotional on this occasion. He asks the class to guard their language. He says that being close to one's language is a way to escape the clutches of slavery. This language will assist them in attaining freedom from the Germans. The people realize the significance of their mother tongue. Franz feels that it is impossible to remove one's language from a person. This is because it is something that is natural to a person. This means that no matter how hard the opposition may try, they will fail to remove one's language. Now, we will discuss the characters of this story. The first character is Franz, the narrator of this story. He is a French kid from Alsace. Franz was a very young boy living in Alsace district of France. He has a layman's attitude to studies. At the beginning, we find him feeling tempted to skip his school. However, we also come to know his inner strength of character when he overcomes that temptation. We come to know his patriotism and love for his teacher after he comes to know about the sad news of the new order according to which teaching of French had to be replaced with German. He is shocked to know that that was Miss M. Hamel's last lesson. We see him getting remorseful for having ignored learning French. He wants to learn everything of French language in just one period. He is very sad at the departure of his teacher. The next character is M. Hamel. Hamel has been a dedicated and passionate teacher of French for 40 years at the same institution. M. Hamel is devoted to his work and takes great pride in introducing his students to the French language and culture. He is very strict, but he also has a sharp sense of humor that he uses to keep his students interested. He is committed to his mother tongue. This can easily be seen when he chooses to conduct his final session in French despite the enforcement of the German orders. His character embodies the value of patriotism, courage, and dedication to one's profession. The third character is Hauser. Hauser was an old farmer who had come to attend the last French lesson to express his gratitude to Mr. Hamel. Like other villagers sitting at the back of the class. The fourth character is the blacksmith, Wester. His presence is very short. His ominous warning to Franz foreshadows the tragedy ahead. The blacksmith is relatively unimportant character, but his fearful tone suggests the anxious climate of the town as it contrasts with Franz's childish and carefree nature. The fifth character is Old Soldier. He has served his country in a battle. He attends the lesson with an old spelling book he has carefully kept over the long years. He has learnt words from this book. He loves his nation very much. The last lessons revolves around the language and its importance to the citizen of a country. It is the duty of every citizen to safeguard the language of the country as it is the identity of that country. Language is considered to be the cultural identity of the people who use it. The language is the pride of the country as it defines the cultural history. The lesson depicts how, after defeating France in the war, the Prussians wanted to rule over not only the territory of the France but also over the minds of the hearts of the people. This lesson throws light on the importance of education. Education gives us knowledge of the world around us. It develops in us a perspective of looking at life. It is the most important element in the evolution of the nation. Without education, one will not explore new ideas. It means one will not be able to develop the world because without ideas there is no creativity, and without creativity there is no development of the nation. The first language is critical to one's identity. Maintaining this language helps values one's culture and heritage, which contributes to a positive self concept. This story, the last lesson, also talks of linguistic chauvinism of the proud conquerors and the pain that is inflicted on the people of a territory by them by taking away the right to study or speak their own language and thus make them aliens in their own land of birth. Through this lesson, we learn the importance of time. In the beginning, Franz was not serious about his studies. After invasion and ban on French language, he repents and wishes he could have taken it seriously. Chauvinism is a devotion for or against something, just based on what you feel, not necessarily what you may know. So, linguistic chauvinism is the idea that one's language is superior to that of others. This happens generally when the language is that of the ruling class. The last lesson raises the burning question very innocently through the words of little Franz. It is thus: will they make them sing in German? Even the pigeons. This raises the question of the imposing a language on others. The child questions that when even the birds and animals cannot be forced to abandon their language, then what forces a man to enforce a language on others? It also talks of linguistic human rights concerning the individual and the collective right to choose the language of languages for communication in a private or public atmosphere. The message of the story. The story reinforces the fact that we value something more when it is lost. The pain and anguish of the students and the teacher is evident as everyone realizes how things were taken for granted. The lesson emphasizes the importance of the mother tongue for everyone and the need to realize the fact that it is our language that gives us our identity, respect, and freedom. The story exemplifies what happens when we are unconcerned about our country or our language. To protect one's motherland, culture, and language, it is necessary to inculcate the quality of patriotism in every citizen. Through this picture slide on the screen, we can recapitulate that we have talked of so far: learning objectives about the author, the background of the story, the significance of the title, the summary of the story, characters of the story, the theme of the story. I think you might have understood all of these. Finally, we can say that M. Hamel is of the view that French is the most beautiful, clear, and logical language in the world. It must be guarded. We must never forget it. In this regard, we can quote the famous line of Bhartendu Harishchandra, and these are: निज भाषा उन्नति है, सब उन्नति का मूल, बिन निज भाषा ज्ञान के मिटत नहीं को सूल. It means progress is possible only through one's own language, because this is the foundation of all progress. Without the knowledge of mother tongue, relief from heartache is not possible. Now, this is the turn of assignment. Here, the first question is: the last lesson was written in 1869 to 1870, 1870 to 1871, 1872 to 1873, 1870 to 1872. These are the four options, and the which one is the correct? Yes, option B is the correct answer. Question number 2: who was M. Hamel? There are four options: a spy, option B is school principal, option C is soldier, option D is language teacher. Which one is the correct? Yes, option D is the correct answer. He was a language teacher. Here is the third question: what is the background of the story? Here are also four options. Option A is Franco-Prussian War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, Cold War. What is the correct answer? Yes, option A is the correct answer, Franco-Prussian War. Now, here is the fourth question. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist, a British novelist, a German novelist, a Russian novelist. What is the correct answer? Yes, French novelist. He was a French novelist. Question number 5th. Which district came under the Prussian rule? Option A, Alsace and Berlin, B, Berlin and Lorraine, C, Alsace and Lorraine, D, the southern districts of France. What is the correct answer of these? Yes, option C is the correct answer, Alsace and Lorraine. Okay, I think you might have gone through these questions and you have learned the answer of these questions, and with this I hope you are well and hearty, and I will come to you in the next video. Thank you.